break something else. Where you going, Boswick? Ready? Legislative day number 20 will now come to order. Please rise for a moment of silent meditation. I will now call upon Councilman Crandall, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of November 20th, 2017?
So moved.
Has been a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
The journal is approved. Enrollment of bills. Bills 64-17, 65-17, 66-17, 67-17, and 68-17 were passed by the council, signed by the executive, and are hereby enrolled. There are no bills for introduction this evening. Therefore, the council will now consider all bills for final reading and vote. Mr. Secretary, the first bill, please.
Mr. Chair, the first bill is Bill 6917 at the request of the administration, entitled Current Expense Budget Maryland Children's Health Program.
And I see we have Mr. Kevin Reed here coming up to testify. And good evening, Mr. Reed.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, council members. The administration is requesting a supplemental appropriation of federal funds totaling $92,385 from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for our Maryland Children's Health Program. This will bring our actual award in line with our FY 2018 budget.
Are there any questions or comments from the members? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 69-17.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Cash?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Bill 69-17 is passed. Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Bill 7017, also at the request of the administration, current expense budget entitled Emergency Management Performance Grant.
And I see we have Chief Price coming up to testify. And good evening, Chief Price.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. The administration is requesting a supplemental appropriation of federal funds totaling $286,163 to the Emergency Management Performance Gifts and Grants Fund program. The funds will be used to purchase tablet computers, software, and hazardous materials monitoring equipment to improve the county's emergency and disaster response.
Any questions or comments from the members for Chief Price? All right, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 70-17.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Bill 70-17 is passed. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next bill is Bill 7117, sponsored by Mr. Jones, entitled Zoning Regulations Indoor Shooting Range.
Councilman Jones.
Yes. It is my pleasure to introduce this bill, 7117. This is a local people. In fact, they are two police officers, one a former police officer and the other a retired police officer that's going to open a business in our community. We are very excited about it. It'll provide unique training opportunities for law enforcement agencies throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. And it will occupy a vacant building and Red Run Boulevard. So we are excited to have them in our community, and we guess are very supportive and hope it becomes a very vibrant business and bring additional police resources to our community, which will make us all safer. So it is my pleasure to ask for each of my colleagues to support me on this bill.
Are there any questions or comments from the members to Councilman Jones? I guess one question for you, Councilman Jones. I saw some emails going back and forth. There were a couple of people that were saying that this was done in the dark of night and nobody knew about it. I've seen your response, but just for the record, can you just state your response?
Yes. You know, one of the things I've learned in this capacity as a council person, there's always going to be people who will say they didn't know. They'll say all sorts of things. And I give this example. When I was a PTA president, when I used to pick my daughter up in the evenings, and there's a guy would pull up with an ice cream truck, and she would ask for an ice cream. And I would say, sure. Since I was a PTA president, most of the kids knew me. I would say, all right, kids, everybody around, come get an ice cream. And it might cost me $40, maybe $45. And I think about that today, because if I were to do that today, people would say I was the devil. I was giving kids ice cream without the parents' permission. I was trying to give them diabetes. I was, you know what I mean, ruining their teeth. I mean, you would guess hear all of that stuff. So here we have local people starting a local business, and we're excited about it. And there are people that I've received all sorts of complaints. Some people are against guns altogether, think that no one in the world should have a gun, and how dare me have something to do with the shooting of Las Vegas, or how dare me have something to do with all these things. The fact of the matter is this facility will cater mostly, it'll be open to the public, but it will cater mostly to law enforcement agencies that need the type of training that they will provide. They will also provide self-defense courses to members of the citizens. It'll provide active shooter training to local businesses. This bill was introduced and then reintroduced, so it actually had a cycle of probably the length of 2 bills since it, in terms of its exposure. It received excellent coverage by Ms. Pamela Wood from the Baltimore Sun on 2 occasions, and I'm sure she'll follow up again. So the notion that people didn't know about it and that it's a terrible thing, I just don't buy it. And it is my pleasure to move the bill forward, because I think it'll be good for our local economy. It'll provide jobs. It will take one building that is currently vacant and make it active and paying taxes and bring people, and hopefully it can draw people to our community to eat at the local eateries and shop and pick up something on their way home, and maybe they come from faraway places and stay in our hotels. So this is all a part of economic development, and I realize that guns is one of those things that some people just, you know, the word gun just drives them crazy, but the fact of the matter is our law enforcement officers and everybody else need training, so we should be very supportive of this bill.
Any other questions or comments from the members? All righty. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 71-17.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Cash?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Bill 71-17 is passed. Council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session, November 28, 2017. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. If a council member has any questions regarding a particular fiscal matter, that item will be discussed as a separate matter. We'll now call upon the Secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 and 2.
Mr. Chairman, fiscal matter 1 is a contract of sale with Deborah Zimmerman for the acquisition of an easement at 137 Bayside Drive. Fiscal matter 2 is also a contract of sale with Bertha Smith for the acquisition of a parcel easement, 4817 East Joppa Road.
And are there any questions or comments from the members? Councilman Marks?
Thank you. Just addressing the second fiscal matter. Councilwoman Bevins and I had the opportunity to attend the groundbreaking for the new Honeygo Area Elementary School. It will be a wonderful facility. It will be Perry Hall's first new school in 25 years, and the acquisition of this parcel will certainly help with the construction of that school. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Crandall?
Sure. I just want to thank the administration, the Office of Real Estate Compliance, for working with our constituents on Bayside to alleviate a flooding problem, which is why this easement acquisition is taking place. And I believe we're probably looking at a second one in a couple weeks to work on the same thing for storm drainage.
Any other questions or comments on either of these fiscal matters? Is there a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 and 2?
So moved.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 and 2.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Ullman?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Fiscal matters 1 and 2 are approved. We will now consider miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Mr. Chair, the first item is the public announcement of a contract pursuant to competitive award pursuant to Charter Section 902. Whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid, and it must be announced at the next legislative session day following the award. There are 2 such contracts. The first is Popowski Brothers in the amount of $34,092.13, and the second is ABS, A Better System Parts Washer Incorporated, in the amount of $30,300.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next item is Resolution 109-17 at the request of the administration. This is a resolution for the designation of the Sparrows Point Development District.
And Mr. Secretary, I know we have Will Anderson here to testify. Before he starts to testify, I know we have one amendment. Why don't we just knock that out?
Yes, sir. There is one amendment in your books. The amendment is really technical in that it adds a last paragraph that would have this resolution take effect if it passes from the date of its passage by the County Council.
And Mr. Secretary, I'll move that amendment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mrs. Ullman?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Marks? Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
The amendment passes. Good evening, Mr. Anderson. Good to see you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Resolution 10917 identifies the Sparrows Point Development District, and the purpose of this resolution is to identify a development area. We're doing this at the request of Trade Point Atlantic, the developer, to establish the base value of the development, setting it in January of 2016. The resolution simply lays out physical boundaries of a district. It does not obligate the county to anything. There are no tax benefits related to the district. There's no bonds. There's no financing of any kind pledged in this resolution.
And I know we had a lot of testimony, a lot of comments on this. Councilman Crandall, did you want to?
Sure. Well, Mr. Anderson, I want to thank you and the administration for supporting a transformational project in our district. And you reiterated in the work session, and you were very clear that this resolution does not obligate the county or the county council to do anything other than create a map of a potential development district for tax increment financing. I do know through talks with the administration that we are a long way away from a TIF, and there's a lot of analysis and what I call numbers crunching to be done. I will say that this council in Baltimore County and the state we've looked at Trade Point Atlantic as an extraordinary opportunity, and sometimes extraordinary opportunities and sometimes generational opportunities deserve extraordinary measures, and that's what the county is now taking a look at. We do not yet have the information on the mechanics of how a TIF would work. We don't have the information on dollar amounts, and I'm as I told the Baltimore Sun, I'm looking at this through as I think that we all should, look through this as a lens of opportunity. And once the administration does their analysis, basically a cost-benefit analysis, makes a recommendation or not, then it's incumbent upon all of us to really dig into this and make sure that not only my constituents in the 7th District, but the Baltimore County taxpayers are receiving the necessary benefit to a public financing mechanism such as this. So for now, as I've told other members, I don't see harm in establishing the district, knowing that we have a lot of work ahead of us if we're ever going to move forward on something like this.
I appreciate it, Councilman Crandall.
Sure.
Councilman Couch?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, is there any reason why we are going to set the assessment year for Sparrows Point to 2016? Can that be done a year, 2 years from now, once the county has the opportunity to evaluate the trade point and what TIF they may or may not need? Could that be done 2-3 years from now, or does it have to be done now?
That's a great question. The way the state law establishes a base value year is they back it up 1 calendar year. So with us meeting in December, if this map is adopted, if this resolution is adopted here in the year of 2017, the state looks back to the base value the prior year. So to your question, anytime we would adopt it in 2017, they have a base value in 2016. Same thing would happen in 2018. The base value year would be established the year prior, January 1 of 2017.
So if, once the county takes a look at this, and because it's going to mean revenue in the near future lost to Baltimore County. I mean, there's no question about that, because this is one of this is the mechanism that funds the TIF. You're taking property taxes in this area, and you're dedicating them to pay this debt on the TIF. So this is not going to be revenues that go to the general fund. And what I mean by that is, let's say that the development never had a TIF, and as the years go on, certainly businesses are still going to locate there, and the assessable base is going to go up. So we're going to be missing that income for a number of years toward the general fund of the county. Wouldn't that be true?
I think you're pointing out something that is very true, that TIF financing has a lot of complexities to it. We're not actually addressing any of those tonight. This resolution is simply the geographic establishment, but those questions that you're raising are the details that you would need to go through in future steps, but it doesn't relate to tonight's resolution.
Okay. Now, Baltimore County is one of 46 counties in the United States to have a AAA bond rating. And when you look at the Prague report that was issued on November the 17th, when you read it, it does give one some cause for concern. And I did notice that the percent of the revenues that are going to go to debt service is increasing from 8.6% to 10.9% in 2023, which means it's obviously taking a larger portion of the county's revenues. And my concern is that what's going to happen is, if and when a TIF is approved, that those revenues are going to be reduced because of the TIF. So it will absorb more than 10.9% of our revenue. So that's one issue. The other thing that looking at is the fact that We have just embarked, we're toward the end of a program to build new schools, to air-conditioned schools, et cetera. So we have borrowed a lot of money. And I noticed that in the future, that the amount of money that the county is going to borrow is going to be greatly reduced, down to about $150 million in 2022 and 2023. So we have the situation where, because of the school improvement programs, we've put off a number of projects, including maybe senior citizen centers, parks, road improvements, that kind of thing. So realizing that the TIF we're talking about is going to be almost as high as 1 year's projected bond issue for other capital projects. So I'm really concerned about the revenues of the county being reduced by a TIF. I do notice that as far as PAYGO goes, that's going to go away. We're not going to have PAYGO in the future, which is a way to pay for capital projects without borrowing money, which is, I wish we could do that with all our capital projects. So I have grave concern about this. The one thing I will say is that this resolution is it's a beginning. And I would hope that the people in the area, in the Dundalk area, will have some input into this process in regard to Trade Point. I would hope that we're going to know what kinds of jobs are going to be created in this area. I would like to see high-paying jobs, obviously, in this area, which will improve our income tax projections and hopefully which will improve our revenues, hopefully. We also have to look at priorities in the future. Can we afford this TIF? Do we want to do this TIF? Or do we want to do these road improvements? Or do we want to do the senior citizen centers, or et cetera? So I hope that what goes on is it's going to be an overall study of what we want to do in the future in this county in conjunction with Trade Point. So I guess I've made a statement, haven't I? I haven't.
Well, I think you've made the statement that points to the fact that getting a AAA bond rating, it doesn't happen by accident.
Right.
It takes very careful and decades-long planning, and that's the way Baltimore County is fiscally managed, and many places around this country would very much love to have a AAA bond rating. We're not going to let go of it easily. And so all those questions about jobs and taxes and choices and balance are
Excuse me
just
for a second. Councilman, we addressed a lot of this at lunch last week when the
Yes.
chairman invited us in,
Yes.
invited me in.
Yes.
And I think I made it clear that there is a whole series of issues that the council has to address ultimately. Right? And those issues include the financing of school construction, and they include taxes. And if you're going to talk about senior centers to schools to the TIF and everything else, there's a wide-ranging conversation that all 7 of you need to have along with the county executive. Mr. Anderson can't help you any more than he already did in saying this is simply a starting point. This is a resolution. It means nothing in terms of getting to a TIF unless we can negotiate a TIF. And I think I made it clear the other day when we were in the meeting that if the council 2 months from now decides that they don't like this resolution, rip it up. Do another one. Don't do another one. The legislative branch here, you all know, final fiscal authority, you're in total control. This is the beginning. Very much has to be negotiated. I think we covered all of that last week.
Mr. Homan, I appreciate you saying that. I really did want you to say what you've just said, because I think that the public needs to know what the process is going to be, not only the people up here, but the public. And I appreciate it very much that you've repeated much of what we spoke about at lunch. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments from the council for Mr. Anderson or for Mr. Homan? I mean, I do want to state that, one, well, I do appreciate all your work on this and your leadership, economic development. I think it's been fantastic. And also, Mr. Homan, I really do appreciate your analysis and your really careful review of this. I mean, I really think you have the right approach. I mean, really slow and methodical, and really do appreciate your review. And also, when we're looking at this, if we do decide to move this forward and look at the bigger issue of TIF, even if we need to, I'm sure we'd bring in outside consultants or anybody else that we might need to really be able to weigh every possible detail. Of course, this is a pretty big deal for the county, and we all know that our bond capacity is fairly stretched, mostly because of the $1.3 billion we're putting into our schools. And as a reminder, again, our forward funding of $230 million for the state that we hope they'll pay us back sooner than later. And so I also think it's really important, it's been said many times, that this does not obligate whatsoever Baltimore County. It just establishes the TIF district. And what I really do look forward to working with you on, Mr. Homan and Mr. Anderson, is really looking at the models and say, okay, well, if this performs really well, what does that mean from a tax increment standpoint, not only to pay for the debt service, but ultimately, is there going to be any increment that's going to go to the taxpayers or not? If it performs ahead of expectations, if it performs behind expectations, because to me, this is ultimately going to come down to bottom line number crunching and assumptions. And then if we do move forward on the TIF later, and that's way down the line after we really work through this more, I look forward to working with the administration, with Mr. Anderson, just to really look at this carefully, and also talk about the priorities of Baltimore County. Because bottom line is, we want things, they have a cost associated with them. And so we really have to think this through carefully, and I think this just is the first step, but doesn't mean anything else except that a district is established. But the TIF will take a lot of work and time, and so because of that, I definitely appreciate everything. Any other questions, Councilman Jones?
Yes, thank you very much, Chairman Quirk. I would just like to say, copy-paste. Copy-paste. I'm
There you
going
go.
to say the same thing you said.
Was that a ditto?
That was, it used to be ditto. Now it has to be copy-paste. So I guess wanted to reiterate the same things you said. Clearly, we have a long way to go, and we have to look at all the priorities and decide what's best for the citizens of Baltimore County. But that's not where we are today. Today, we're just establishing the zone. So thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? All right, is there a motion to approve Resolution 109-17 as amended?
So move.
And is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 109-17 as amended.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye?
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Explaining my vote, I am going to vote for this, but in the belief that I feel that the next administration should be the one that actually determines what the TIF's going to be once the next administration takes a look at what priorities the county should be pursuing. Thank you.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Resolution 109-17 as amended is passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 11017, sponsored by Mr. Catch, is a resolution to approve a refund of property taxes collected from Nanette Fitzgerald, who is entitled to a refund by reason of the exemption afforded to disabled veterans under state law.
Mr. Chairman, it's my honor to move this resolution.
I'll second it. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 110-17.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Resolution 110-17 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next item is Resolution 111-17, sponsored by Mr. Quirk, the Chair, which which is a resolution to approve the refund of real property taxes collected from John W. Lanham, who is entitled to an exemption and refund by reason of being a disabled veteran.
And I will proudly move the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 111-17.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Resolution 111-17 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next item is Resolution 112-17, sponsored by Mrs. Almond, a resolution to approve the refund of property taxes collected from Terry Brown, who is entitled to an exemption as a result of being a disabled veteran.
Thank you. It's my honor to move this resolution.
Second.
It's been motioned second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 112-17.
Mrs. Almond?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Resolution 112-17 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next item is Resolution 113-17, sponsored by Mr. Jones, a resolution to approve the refund of property taxes collected from Colin P. Kelly, who is entitled to an exemption by reason of being a disabled veteran.
It is my honor and privilege to move the resolution.
And I'll-
Second.
Motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 113-17.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Almond?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Resolution 113-17 is passed. Mr. Secretary.
Next item is Resolution 114-17, sponsored by Mr. Jones,
can I make a
a
quick
resolution to approve a refund of property taxes collected from Elmer E. Sampson, who is entitled to a refund by reason of being a disabled veteran.
Okay. Councilman Marks voted.
Yes.
The last
Same last resolution.
I'm sorry?
I voted for the last resolution.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Marks.
Okay.
All right, so we're on Resolution 114-17.
Yes. And again, it is my honor and privilege to move the resolution, and as always, be supportive of disabled veterans.
Second.
In motion and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 114-17.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mrs. Almond?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Resolution 114-17 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 115-17, sponsored by Mr. Crandall, is a resolution to approve a refund of property taxes collected from Mary P. Zakrowski, who is entitled to an exemption by reason of blindness afforded under state law.
I'm happy to move the resolution.
Second.
There's been a motion second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 115-17.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Almond?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Resolution 115-17 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next item is Resolution 116-17, sponsored by Mr. Quirk at the request of the administration. This is a resolution to accept a donation of 3 parcels of land, Lions Mill Partnership LLP, Owings Mills Rec, intro only this evening.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 117-17, also at the request of the administration, to accept a monetary gift, State of Maryland Public Safety and Correctional Services 911 Center, also for intro only this evening.
And Mr. Secretary, is there any farther business to come before the County Council?
No further business, Mr. Chair.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. As is customary, anyone who's signed up prior to the meeting with the Secretary is allowed 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes to speak. Mr. Secretary, are there any speakers signed up this evening?
There are 4 speakers signed up, Mr. Chair.
All righty. And so we have 4 speakers, and each speaker is allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. Each speaker will start at this chair, and then the second speaker, if they want to come close to the speaker's chair. And the order is Steve Britska, followed by Casey Brooks, followed by Capri Ebright, followed by Troy Brewer. He had another appointment. But, good evening. Thank you for coming out.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here again. My name is Steve Breitska, and I'm also representing the 30 homeowners in the Kimberly Farms Homeowners Association. If you remember from last meeting, the BCAS facility in Baldwin has made life in our community unbelievably difficult due to constant noise and light pollution. We are disappointed Mr. Holman left, as we have been told repeatedly by county personnel that he is the person we have to deal with in this matter. And to date, he has never returned a call to us, even though we've been assured by other county personnel that he would. To recap, at the November 20th County Council meeting, we provided each of you with documents that we had provided the county executive's office. One item we provided was a report dated May 2016, where we documented sound tests that showed the BCAS facility was well in excess of the state law for noise. We also provided you a county-sponsored sound report dated September 2016 that showed congruent results with our study and included the comment made by the sound engineer: noise at BCAS with dogs outdoor exceeds the local noise code by as much as 15 decibels, which is an extreme violation of the law. In addition, we provided you a copy of an email we received through the Maryland Public Information Act that showed the county at one point recognized their responsibility and had actually launched a sound wall project in February 2017, but canceled it. Hopefully, each of you were able to review those documents that we gave you that clearly illustrate our frustration. After the county council meeting on the 20th, Donna Morrison reached out to us, which we greatly appreciated since we rarely hear from anyone from the county. And she told us that the county had an original estimate of $300,000 for the wall, but that the formal quote came in at $600,000. She then requested we reach out to our state delegation for a bond bill to cover half of that cost, which we have, but have so far received tepid response from them. While we, the homeowners of Kimberly Farms, understand that the cost of a properly constructed sound wall may be higher than some estimate the county received along the way, we are firm in our need for this to get resolved ASAP, as we have suffered with this violation of the law since 2016. Really, recognition of this issue should have been part of the original environmental impact of this study and should have been taken care of before the construction was even completed. We are here again at the county council meeting to call for you, the members of the council, to one, get this known and documented violation of the law remedied per our May 10th, 2017 letter to the county executive, which I included in the package, and that you assign someone from the council to give us clear communications on this matter. Please help us.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Councilman?
Yes, Mrs. Morrison, will you please provide us with the specific $600,000 cost for the sound barrier? And I mean, has it been planned, and is that the cost? Okay, and secondly, it is the county's responsibility to resolve the sound issue. It is the county's facility. It isn't the state of Maryland's facility. And to think that the state of Maryland needs to come up with half the money is a bit ridiculous. When you take a look at the bonds on the state level, this will never fly. This is not going to fly. That's why they're getting a tepid response from the members of the legislature. This is the county's responsibility. It is not the state's responsibility. So I think as far as expecting money from the state, it's not going to happen. And I just think that the issue is that it's just simply going to delay this project. We need to move forward with it, needs to be built, and we need to go forward with it as if we're going to get no state money, because that's what I predict will happen. And if we should happen to get some state money, well, good for us. But we need to go forward. It's the county's responsibility, and that's, hopefully, if you could take that back to Mr. Homan, who I regret has left, because he did need to hear this. Thank you.
All right. Our next speaker, Casey Brooks, followed by Capri Ebright. And good evening.
Is that at all times? Yeah. Do you know from that video where the wall will be placed? For God's sake, don't turn it off. Huh? No, I was asking about where was the wall going to be placed. Do we know where the wall would be placed from that video? Okay.
But there's roughly only a potential 30 feet to place it. That's how close
Okay.
it is to the property. Very close to the kennel in our estimation.
Okay.
How late into the night does that sound continue? Does it throughout the night, throughout the evening, or is there a certain point where? About dinner time. Okay. Any other questions from the members?
Mr. Chairman?
I do, actually. And I'm
Councilwoman.
sorry, I did have to leave early. The last time you were here to testify, I had a meeting on the east side. So I'm just curious, because I've been to the shelter, I've adopted a dog from the shelter, and are you saying that all the dogs are out all day long? Because when I have visited the shelter, the dogs have always been inside, and they just let so many runs of dogs in their run out at a time. So I'm just wondering how all the dogs are barking all day long to that level.
There's no schedule.
Right.
It could start at 7 and go to 9. It could start at 7 and go to 12. It could stop for 2 hours and then it could pick back up at lunchtime and then it could go before dinner. There's no schedule.
So my question is, when the old shelter was there, what is the difference? Is there a difference now between the old shelter and the new shelter?
The old one was 2,000 square foot, this one's 26,000.
Mhm.
It was placed in the center of the plaza.
So you're,
This is on the edge of it, right adjacent to our property line.
okay, so you're just saying because there's more dogs, because the shelter is larger, there's
And
more dogs,
closer.
there's more noise.
Much closer.
Okay. Okay.
Councilman,
Okay. I just wanted clarity because I wasn't here when you spoke last time.
Ca-
Thank you.
Councilman Marks?
How old is your neighborhood? Out of curiosity. 1995. Okay, so if this was a highway project, the Federal Highway Administration would allow the state to put up sound barriers for an existing neighborhood impacted by a highway project, not for one that comes after, but you were there many years before. Okay. Mhm. Okay.
The gentleman that left this evening is an example of how we were trying to get in touch with Towson to understand what was going on and get involved with the design. We cannot communicate with the people because we can't find and/or contact the people that we
Mhm. You made an impression. Yeah.
Councilman Jones?
Yes, first of all, Mr. Brooks, I want to thank you for coming out and thank your community as well. I mean, this is very important. It is clear to me and everybody here that, this is an issue we need to fix. Needless to say, I think I was very supportive of you last time you were here. And it just reminds me, I'm not sure if you guys saw the blog or report or whatever that someone went out and posted about me that I somehow made you shut the video up after a minute. And, I was really mean to everybody. And, this is the kind of stuff that happens, but that comes with the territory. But I just wanted to be clear that I was supportive of you. And I just wanted to be clear that everybody here, we hear you, and we will be working through this issue as best we can because you certainly deserve some relief.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman?
Yeah, Councilman Jones was 2 weeks ago and still is very much in support of you. I don't know where this came from, but it's in total error, no question about it. And secondly, I do want to say that I visited twice unannounced, and what you heard is very accurate, absolutely accurate. And this is, again, what's wrong is that we have county-owned property that the county's belief is that they can proceed to do anything they want on this property without any public notice, public input. And that's what happened here. And this is something that has got to be addressed, that the county should not be exempt from its own zoning rules. It is ridiculous. It is beyond and anything that you can imagine. It's like Congress exempting themselves from the laws that they pass. This is no different, and this is wrong and must be stopped.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Capri Ebright, followed by Troy Brewer. Yeah, that's not a real newspaper either.
Right. It came to my attention when the person sent me an email that was very, very angry. I was thinking, what is this person talking about? Then I did some research and I saw where he read that article and proceeded to let me have it.
Good evening, Ms. Ebright. I'm glad you're testifying tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to again ask you for help in remediating the noise and light problems caused by the BCAS. Home, for most of us, is a place of sustenance, a place that serves as a refuge from the outside world and serves as the base from which we teach our children to be valuable citizens. We're vested in our community, serving on advocacy committees to protect the rights of our citizens, all in an effort to create the best environment we can for the people of Baltimore County. We've lived next to the shelter since 1999, my family personally. We support the county's need to provide a humane place for its animals. What we don't agree with is that this effort has to be at the expense of the peace of its residents. A University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine study found evidence that long-term exposure to environmental noise affects the cardiovascular system with connections to hypertension, ischemic heart disease, and stroke. In addition, numerous studies pointed to associations between environmental noise, exposure, and sleep disturbances and cognition in children. Ms. Allman, you introduced your two lovely granddaughters last time we were here. Would you want them to live next door to a facility that has noted unhealthy levels of noise? Would you think it was acceptable for their county officials to disregard their rights to a quiet and peaceful home? Would you step in and help them if you could? Councilman Marks, last week you used the following words to pass Bill 6817. Our first priority, and I quote you, as a county council is to do whatever is needed to preserve the peace of mind and security of our neighbors. It's not just a public safety issue, but also a private property rights issue, since disruptive incidents over many years devalue homes and destabilize entire neighborhoods, end quote. We ask you, our elected officials, to preserve our peace of mind and the values and stability of our homes. We've given you concrete data and actual sound recordings. Councilman Catch has supported our effort, and Councilman Jones, we thank you for the support you offered on the November 20th meeting. Ms. Allman, Mr. Crandall, Ms. Bevins, Mr. Marks, we ask that you live by the mission statement of the council and fix the situation, reconstituting the peace that was once in our homes. Mr. Quirk, as the chairman, take charge of the situation and don't ignore the data that you have. The need for a peaceful, quiet home is universally central to life. We ask that you build an aesthetic and effective sound barrier as soon as possible. If you continue to ignore the data, if you continue to ignore the requests for help, then you're not fulfilling your duty of service to the people that elected you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Alman?
I assure you, we do understand your plight, and we are going to help you.
We appreciate that.
Councilman Katz?
Yes, Mr. Bostwick, this week, I'd like to work with you on drafting legislation to require that this sound barrier be built. So we'll be in touch. I'm sure that we can put requirements about the level of sound, not certain level not being acceptable, and et cetera. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Seabright.
I'd like to, Mr. Quirk, also tell you, and our committee doesn't know this, but we've got some very competent people on our committee. If you guys can't get a quote for less than $600,000, please let us know, and we'll get on the warpath and see if we can get you a good one.
Thank you.
Well, I was on the same track with you.
Thank you, Ms. Seabright. And our last speaker tonight is old friend Troy Brewer from the old UBS Payne Weber days. Good to see you, Troy.
Chairman, good to see you again. Council members, thank you very much. I don't want to go through this whole thing again and take more time. I just want to mention that the majority of the people here from Kimberly, 30-some homeowners, Manor Oaks, right next door, another 48. We're all affected. We're all concerned about this. I really appreciate the comments made by Councilman Jones earlier about the gun range and saying, look, let's get along and get this taken care of. I feel the same way about this animal shelter. This has been going on too long. It's been disturbing the neighborhood for too long. We have people in power that are supposedly working for us. It doesn't seem to be working too well. So I appreciate your comment before about getting this done. We know the people that are putting the designs together and making the quotes. It's a small community. We all know who each other are. One thing I'd like to ask, can we be a part of that conversation of the design, the impact? I'd certainly hate to see a situation where a wall is built 4 foot tall as opposed to 8 foot tall, or it looks hideous as opposed to what we expect to see. We'd love to see some of our neighbors involved in the design and comment on what you're proposing or what the county is proposing before it's completed. I'd appreciate that.
Councilman?
Yeah, obviously, you're not going to have a wall that's not going to work. So it's not going to be 4 feet. I mean, if 4 feet tall does the trick, then it'll be 4 feet tall, which I don't think is going to do the trick. But actually, you'll see if you drive I-83, you'll see a sound barrier that I, in essence, got and allowed the community to decide what it was going to look like. And so that can be done. Now, this was on the state level. And you know, you don't, well, I
fully understand. The reason I said that is we were told there was an animal shelter that would have no impact on the associated neighborhoods. And
say that again.
We were once told that the animal shelter that was being built or expanded wasn't going to have an effect on our communities.
Who told you that?
Therefore, in the very beginning when all this was being developed, and it did have an effect on us. That's why I'm bringing up the fact that since we really didn't have too much impact on what was being put there, where it was being put, and all those other associated items, I'd very much like to see the community involved with what this last attempt to quiet and or eliminate the lighting could look like when it's...
Do you have that in writing?
I'm sorry?
Do you have that in writing from a county official?
Phone conversations.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Crandall?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Morrison, have we, was this put out for a competitive bid? Did we just reach out to one company, or did purchasing or Public Works seek multiple solutions to the problem with different price points to it? The wall.
Yes.
So if we did get, if the community is saying that they've reached out to some professional people and we have a $300,000 gap, would it then not be prudent to look at other contractors or look at other engineers and different solutions to find out why we have a $300,000 gap? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments from the members before we wrap up? All righty. Well, thank you, Troy. Thank you all very much for coming out tonight. And I do wish everybody a safe drive home. Thanks so much.